Hello and welcome to the morning sports briefing here on Thursday, the 11th of February. Hi, I'm Paul and I'll be your host this morning. In the news today, we'll bring up to speed with all of the cricket action that is coming up. There is news over in the NBA, not just action, but also news around. I've just realised I've left my tea bag in my cup. That's a bad idea, isn't it? Also, news around the national anthem over there. It obviously is a big deal. The NBL, we had a top of the table clash to bring you there. There'll be news from the Australian Open where we got Kiwi interest yesterday. We'll talk about the A-League and also the PGA as well, which is about to get under action. This is your best way to start the day up to speed with all of the important sports news. Now I've got my tea bag out of my teacup in a much better situation. So let's get over to the golf and the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am will be starting today. Tim Wilkinson is supposed to tee it off at 6:58 in the morning. So around about 3 minutes ago. And obviously he's the Kiwi interest in that tournament, and we wish him the best for that one. I'll bring you up to speed with how he goes over the next 4 days here on the morning sports briefing. Heading over to Australia, and in the A-League, there was one game yesterday. Western Sydney Wanderers beat Melbourne Victory 2-0 in that one. That sees Western Sydney Wanderers it's in sixth place in the table. Melbourne Victory still at the bottom, looking for their second win of the season. On Saturday morning at 9 a.m, we will have the new Nix newsletter show where you can get your A-League fix, obviously covering off on all of the action of the Wellington Phoenix get involved in. So do check that out and join us at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning. Obviously, if that's a bit early for you, you can watch the recording on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, or catch the podcast just on your favorite podcatcher. Heading over to, we're already in Australia. Moving on then to the basketball in Australia. And in the NBL, we had a top of the table clash as the Hawks took on Melbourne United. In a close one, Melbourne United took it out 88-91 in that one. They got into the lead in the first quarter and kind of just clung on for the rest of the game. For Melbourne United, they were led by Scotty Hopson with 21 points there. The Hawks had Justine Jessup on 24 points and Tyler Harvey on 22 points, but with a double-double, as he also got 10 rebounds. Also, Sam Froling got a double-double with 11 rebounds and 16 points, but just didn't get enough production from the rest of the team. So real team effort from Melbourne United to beat the Hawks there and stay top of the table with a perfect record of 6 wins from 6 games. Sticking with basketball over in the NBA. First up, it was spotted that the Dallas Mavericks have not been playing the national anthem at the beginning of their games. This is something that pretty much all sports, professional sports teams do in the States. But the Mavericks haven't been doing that all season. And here we are, 13 or so games in. And it's just been spotted. The Mavericks made no comment as to why they're not playing it anymore, and there was no announcement either. But that will surely be a news item over the next couple of days. On to the actual action on the court, in a couple of key games before we get into the Pelicans game against the Rockets, the Jazz beat the Celtics 122-108. And the 76ers kept up their good run, beating the Kings 119-111 in that one. The Pelicans took on the Rockets. It was a quiet night for Steve Adams with 4 rebounds and 6 points. But his team really stood up and won this one. They got into a lead in the first half. The Houston Rockets came back a bit in the third quarter, but in the fourth quarter, the Pelicans just dominated it, 38-20 points. A number of standout performances for the Pelicans. So Brandon Ingram scored 22 points. Zion Williamson with 20 points. Also coming off the bench, Josh Hart got a double-double with 17 rebounds and 20 points. Willie Hernangomez also got a double-double off the bench with 10 rebounds and 14 points there. For the Rockets, they were led by John Wall with 25 points and Eric Gordon with 23. But yes, a big victory of the Pelicans, 130-101 there. So with some production off the bench as well for the Pelicans. Looking at the table now then, that means the Pelicans are up to 10th in the Western Conference on a run of 4 victories, which is seeing them climb up the table. The Jazz are still at top of the table, ahead of the Lakers and the Clippers. And over in the Eastern Conference, that victory for the 76ers sees them still top, ahead of the Bucks and the Nets in that one. Heading back to, let's cover off on the cricket news then. And no action yesterday, but today we'll have the second test match between Bangladesh and the West Indies starting. Also, we have the Super Smash Elimination Finals. First up, it's the men with Central Districts versus Canterbury Kings. And then over on the women's side, it'll be the Auckland Hearts versus the Wellington Blaze. Unfortunately, I won't be heading up to those games this or today. Then tomorrow, Pakistan versus South Africa. They'll be starting their first T20 international over there. The White Ferns have announced their squad, and there are 2 debutants that have been listed in this one. The 2 uncapped players are Brooke Halliday from Northern Districts and Fran Jonas from Auckland Hearts. Fran Jonas, someone I interviewed the other day, so if you want to hear her, you can head over to our New Zealand Sports Radio Facebook page and catch that interview. Another interview that we released yesterday was a long talk with Jessica Sitt, who is the world champion navigator in the jet sprint racing. So that's an interesting chat I have with her. I'll be looking at getting into a jet sprint boat on this weekend and also covering the net jet sprint event the following weekend. So keep an eye out as we increase our coverage of jet sprint racing, sorry, not jet sprint bowling. That'll be a funny one. In the tennis, and it's obviously the Australian Open at the moment, and there was New Zealand interest yesterday in the men's doubles as Piers and Venus, the number 10 seeds, took on de Minaur and Reed. Piers and Venus went through 6-3, 6-2 in that one. They will be facing the wildcards from South Korea, Nam and Song, in the second round there. Over on the men's singles side of things, and Djokovic was made to work to get through the second round, beating Tifo 6-3, 6-7, 7-6, 6-3. He'll be meeting the 27th seed, Fritz from the USA, who came through 4-6, 7-6, 6-7, 7-6, 6-2. So a 5-setter for him. Over on the women's side of things, and Bartina 1 seed will be back in action today. So do check that one out. Just quickly catching up on the results. Venus Williams has crashed out of the event as qualifier. Irani beat her 6-1, 6-0 to go through there into the third round. Her sister, Serena Williams, though I've gone and lost where she is in the draw. She came through fine, beating Savanovic 6-3, 6-0 to make it through to the third round there. You have now started the day the best way up to speed with all the important sports news. Don't forget you can catch us at 7 a.m. every single morning here on New Zealand Sports Radio.